What rolls, has 120 sides, and has no real practical use? This. It's a 120-sided die. It has the most sides of any die in the world. There are lots of unique die sets around. Think Dungeons and Dragons. And there are even 60-sided die. But this is a one-of-a-kind die that challenged even the best mathematicians to figure out how to squeeze all those sides and numbers onto one die.
Inside Science TV.
It's an expensive die, but compared to a lot of other things, it's not a lot of money. I thought, is anyone going to pay $12 for a die there's no use for? It turns out the answer is yes, but I think it's just because it's an interesting object.
It's not just interesting. It's mind-boggling that someone could design a die with 120 sides. But Robert Fathauer and Henry Segerman have accomplished the seemingly impossible, but not without its challenges.
Making large dice is more difficult than making dice with a lesser number of faces for a few reasons. For one thing, if you have a lot of faces, the faces are small, and so there's less area to land on and sit flat. Also, there's less area to put a number in.
At 120 sides, it's also a great number for math-related combinations. It's 5 factorial, which means 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 equals 120. So if you have 5 objects, there are 5 factorial, or 120 different ways to arrange them. Making a die as fair as possible means mapping out the numbers equally over the die. To take on the task, another mathematician, Bob Bosch of Oberlin College in Ohio, was enlisted to find a perfect numbering system for their D120.
Now notice the numbers are arranged in rings. There's 10 numbers per ring, and there are 12 rings, gives you 120 numbers. It turns out there's almost 10 to the 98th possibilities for arranging the numbers. And that's something like a billion times the number of atoms in the known universe.
For the geometry fanatics out there, do you know the proper Greek name for a 120-sided die, also known as the D120?
Our D120 is a distiachous triacantahedron.
It's a quirky die to say the least. It actually wobbles when it's rolled.
It's just got some kind of pointy features that tend to cause it to lose momentum faster.
And it's not so easy to read either.
It's a little harder with 120 sides to know which number that is. You can actually rotate it a little bit, and you can see that the one face that's straight up will stay in place. It'll just turn about the center.
But despite its oddness and uselessness, it's neat to toss and twirl around. It has 120 possibilities at your fingertips, and it's a math lover's dream.
There's no real use for a D120 at this point in time. You can make up something obscure. One thing you can do with any number of sides is do math games.
This is Inside Science.